Hello there, internet. How's it going? Welcome back to the show. Thanks for clicking on this one. My name is Pat Dan, and today we are here with user Overworldlines9123 on r/Reddit gets drawn badly, who asks, please draw me horribly. I think I just had woken up, or I was just feeling ugly in this pic. LMAO, crying emoji, crying emoji. They don't actually look that crazy in this photo. This seems like a normal photograph to me, so I don't know why they're making a big fuss about it. But, you know, I understand there's low self-esteem that plagues our generation, so I get it. Before we do get into this, though, I did want to show you a little sneak peek. This might be a little bit too embarrassing for me, but I think it will be funny for the video, so maybe you'll get some enjoyment out of this, and feel free to flame me in the comments as much as you want. I'm just kind of engagement baiting here, but I'm going to show you a little thing that I did today on my loser activities as like an unemployed person and on a weekday, just like figuring out what I want to do with my time. I decided to like record a cover of a Joji song from the album Nectar. For those of you who know, Joji was my rise to fame. My 111 subscribers came from my video Tragic Self-Discovery, which was basically a review of an old Joji album. So I think that's like my biggest video on the channel, which is only like 200 views, but to me that's huge. Big stuff, huge stuff. Basically like celebrity level. Anyway, let me just get this over with and then we can actually get into the drawing. Okay, cover your ears maybe if you're sensitive to horrible like acts of terrorism on I don't know what I meant by that. Here it goes. Souls that dream alone lie awake. I'll give you something so real. If you've been waiting for falling in love, baby, you don't have to wait on me. I just thought I'd give you like a little snippet, just a little teaser, little snippet of it, because I know you probably don't want to hear it, but you know, like there's your little snippet, just so you know what's going on in my life, I guess. I don't know. If you want me to, I guess if you want me to drop the full thing, it took me like not that long to make, so it's not necessarily my best work. Okay, I mean, it's not my worst work. I've definitely done worse, but it's not my best work either. So if you want to hear the full thing, let me know in the comments down below. But you know, for now, that's all the snippet will drop. That's all we'll leave it at. Okay. I did send it to King Can't Draw, my one viewer, and asked him if he thought it was something that I should post on the channel. It would be a really weird switch up for me to just go from MS Paint videos to just a random Joji cover for no reason, and not a good one at that, like a random bad Joji cover for no reason whatsoever. It would be an odd switch up, but I don't know, maybe you guys would appreciate that. Maybe you guys want to see like just more raw and honest YouTube content. I mean, that's certainly what I want to see. I want to see myself be raw and honest. For some reason, I have like a lack of control over my hand today. Like my hand is not drawing the lines I want it to, oddly enough. But I think we can still make this work. We can still make it happen. I'm a little jittery, actually. That was like, I feel like I don't get embarrassed recording these videos because I, you know, have a say over what I put in it. So I'm like not going to put anything that makes me feel uncomfortable. But that was like like I'm genuinely shaking a little bit at the fact that I just showed that to potentially one person who's watching this, King Can't Draw. So, you know, I'm okay. I know that you are as tired of hearing me talk about my lack of viewership like as you could possibly be, but rest assured I'm right there with you. You know, if I could get one more viewer other than King, and Mr. FBI doesn't really count because like I know him in real life, so to me that feels like a fake viewer. Like if I wanted to tell him the stuff that I'm saying in the video, I would just tell it to him because I don't have like, there's no communication barrier there versus like someone who I don't actually know, like, you know, watching my video. That feels more substantive. Then there's like a purpose for me recording it because it's like at least I'm, you know, transcending some kind of barrier of location at the very least, right? So I feel like that's in general why King Can't Draw gets a little pass, because, you know, like we don't know each other, so it's like I feel like he's a true fan, even though he's kind of not. Like he wouldn't be watching if you found it organically. I don't think the channel, that is. He'd probably say, "Oh, this is slop. I don't like it," and then move on. but I think because he kind of knows me a little bit, he's like, all right, I feel bad for the guy. So, you know, I'm going to peep a little bit. You know what? Actually, I was thinking about this earlier, and by earlier, I mean like 2 seconds ago. I was thinking about how all people with some level of fame like despise the fact that people know who they are, and the fact that like people constantly are coming up to them and like trying to get pictures or whatever. And a sentiment that I hear frequently is the idea that like people will message you who haven't messaged you in a long time, like people who aren't really your friends, but you know, you've talked once or twice. Oh, sorry. Aren't really your friends, but you've talked once or twice. They'll like come out of the woodwork and Facebook message you and be like, hey, remember me? You want to hang out sometime, in an effort to, I don't know, like mooch some of the success that you've gotten or whatever. I have no idea why. Like I would imagine the only reason I could come up with is money, right? But how are you expecting to get money out of this random guy that you haven't talked to in years? Like, I don't understand the game plan there. But I mean, I guess a shot in the dark is better than no shot at all. So you got to take your chance while you have it. You know what? I did just see a Ludwig video where he was reading through his emails, which I didn't know anybody ever did. And he was reading viewer emails for like submitted stream ideas. And one of the things that he got emailed was just a PowerPoint presentation on why he should pay for someone's college tuition. And then he actually paid for their college tuition because it was a good presentation. And I was like, you know what? Go them, bro. Like if you have a crazy wild idea that's like so insane, no one else would ever do it except you, the person who came up with it, I think it's worth pursuing. Like go out there and do it. It probably will feel really stupid, and there's like a 99% chance it won't work. But you know, that little itty bitty 1% chance that it does work, that Ludwig sees that email submission and he pays for your college tuition, like that's something you just can't pass up on, man. That is exciting stuff. Especially because for that person in the video, they were trying to do like a major change, I think, or something. I don't quite remember. I wasn't fully paying attention, but I think they were like studying some STEM thing and they wanted to pivot to theater arts. So that was a pretty awesome like opportunity that they got from Ludwig, where he was just like, yeah, sure, I'll like pay for you to switch universities. and then they just like got it out like on a whim from sending one email. Like imagine having that idea. I feel like the average person would instantly be like, no, that's stupid. Of course I'm not going to send an email to Ludwig. Like that's the dumbest shit ever. I could just apply for a scholarship if I wanted money. But this person was like, no, you know what? I believe in myself. I believe in fate. And I'm going to send out this email as a last ditch effort. And it worked out for them. So if you have a good idea, you out there sitting in your chair, or maybe, I don't know, sitting on the ground or whatever you're doing, laying in your bed, if you have a crazy idea that you haven't tried yet, I would say go out and do it. Just, give it a shot. But sorry, that was a weird tangent. I was going to say, with regard to like people who get fame, like at like a later stage in their life than 1 year old, right? Like Justin Bieber, I don't think he ever really experienced this because he's been famous since he was basically born. So I feel like he doesn't even know what normal life is like, if I had to guess. But for other people, right, they I think have a little bit more of a sharp transition from normal life to a life of world renown or whatever, just like slight fame or whatever it may be. I think that jump comes as quite a shock to most. And a sentiment that I hear frequently, obviously I've already said this before, but allow me to repeat myself, if you will, is that people are like, oh, everyone wants to talk to me now, and it's like so lame and so boring. And I know this probably isn't true. I know this is just like me making up, false realities because I don't know what it's actually like because I haven't lived this experience yet. But to me, I'm kind of like, it would be pretty odd. Like, level with me for a second and just imagine the world. Like, it would be pretty awesome if people that I hadn't talked to, if people that I had not talked to for years, just randomly out of nowhere started messaging me and be like, yo, bro, remember how we're best buds? Don't you want to go hang out and do stuff? Like, I wouldn't say yes. I definitely wouldn't say yes because I'm like antisocial, and I like, to be honest, I probably wouldn't even respond, which is a horrible thing to say, but also probably true, unfortunately. And I'd probably read it and then leave them on read, which is something that unfortunately I do quite a bit. Usually not on purpose. Sometimes, so I'll admit, sometimes on occasion it is on purpose, but usually not. And I would probably love that. Like, I would never in a million years say yes. I don't know. Maybe I would. Maybe I'd feel a strike of inspiration and be like, you know what? Yes, I do want to hang out with you, even though I know you're just out to get me. But, I feel like it would be fun to just see messages start flowing in from everyone I've ever interacted with, and then get to like take some walks down memory lane. Like, I can be like, hey, I remember this guy. I don't know, went out to go get boba exactly one time, and I like talked to them about this album that I like, and they so happen to also have listened to. That was a pretty fun experience, or whatever it may be, right? And I don't know. That's an experience that I think is unique to having fame, because no one, like, in no other scenario is anyone ever going to message me out of the blue. People have zero desire at all to ever speak to me. I mean, I think there is a passing desire, obviously, right? Like, people might have an initial thought of like, oh, hey, that guy looks cool, maybe I should talk to him. But then they immediately go, you know what? No, actually, I don't want to talk to him. And then they just go on living their life, right? Like, I would expect them to do that. I'm not upset about that. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. This is just the way it is and the way I would expect it to be. But, I think on occasion, some people do actually genuinely consider speaking to me, and then they don't, which is kind of a shame, because I would love to talk to them. Like, there was this one time I was talking to somebody who, I don't remember where I was, but I was talking to somebody who had like just recently graduated. I must have been in like my sophomore or junior year of high school. And somebody had just recently graduated high school, and I was talking to them, and they were like, honestly, I feel like I kind of wanted to like try and get to know you. I feel like I kind of wanted to make friends with you, and I just never acted on that. And like, I don't know how true that was, because that person didn't seem like particularly interested in actually talking to me. It kind of seemed like they were trying to butter me up a little bit, which is something that, I think I do a little bit. Like, sometimes I won't lie, but sometimes I will, up my excitement to see someone, because I think actually here is the initial starting point of that behavior that I exhibit. I once saw, I think, a TikTok that said, if someone likes you if when you see them they seem excited to see you, which is like, now that I'm saying it out loud, that's a very obvious statement, right? Like, if someone's excited to see you, obviously they probably like you. Like, that seems to correlate with, oh, this person enjoys having me around because they were excited when they saw my face. But to me, when I was like 12 years old, I was like, whoa, that's a revelation. This is awesome. So then after seeing that TikTok, I started, like, whenever I saw somebody who I wanted to like improve their day, which was like, I don't know, I think most people, I want to improve their day, but sometimes I don't have the energy to do so. But when those two things align, when I want to improve someone's day and I have the energy to do so, I'll kind of like pretend to be super excited to see them. Not that I'm not excited to see them, right? Like, I am excited. It's just, I'm not one to express that excitement typically. So unless I was doing this on purpose in an effort to like subtly influence your mood and make you feel better just because I want you to have a good day, like, I wouldn't be doing this. But because I saw this one TikTok and I'm aware of people's emotions, I guess now, like, I learned a basic human, skill, which is like empathy. Now I'm like, hey, I'm going to like now when I see someone, I'll be like, yo, what's up? Like, like I'll try and act excited. Actually, I guess I feel like I don't do that so much anymore, but there was a period when I definitely did that. And I definitely, like, when I did it, I felt like people were pretty excited that I was excited to see them. Like, they were like, hey, let's go. That's definitely, I feel like that's something popular guys do in high school for sure. I wonder, now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if that is kind of a subtle manipulation tactic, because I feel like they probably saw me as kind of like not a super like well-rounded, socially well-rounded person. So they were like, oh, this is a guy we can kind of, I don't know, not trick, but trick. So they're like, oh, if I pretend to be super excited to see him, then he'll do whatever I want. I don't know what they'd want me to do, but I feel like that would be a pretty sneaky manipulation tactic. Let me know if any let me know if any of you have tried that tactic to get someone to do your homework for you or something. I don't know. I bet it would work. It would probably work on me. I've never actually done someone's homework for them. But if one of the guys that I saw as cool and popular came up to me and said, "Yo, what's good? Pat Dan, yo, what's up?" And then like, started shooting the shit with me or whatever. And then like 10 minutes into a conversation, we're like, "Hey, you know what? I don't want to burden you or anything, but I have this one class," and I would immediately, before they even finish their sentence, I'd be like, "Oh, I got you, bro. I got you. Hey, you want somebody to do your classwork for you? You want to cheat the system? I got you, Brody." Like, and that's never something I've done before, but just, I think because I felt like I was seen by this individual, I'd be like, you know what? I'll break new boundaries. I'll do something I've never done before for this guy. He loves me. I love him. So, I feel like it would work on me. A little bit of a drab scenario I've painted in my mind, but not an unrealistic one. Is unrealistic a word? That has to be a word, right? It sounds weird, but I think it is a word. So yeah, I would, if anyone out there is watching this video, I don't know if this would ever happen, but if anyone out there is watching this video who I know, who hasn't talked to me in forever, wants to brighten my day a little bit, shoot me a message and be like, "Bro, we haven't talked in a hot minute. You want to go do something?" I will not say yes. I will not say yes. I'm not trying to get your hopes up here. I will say no. I will turn you down. But if you want to make my day a little bit better, feel free to drop the message anyway. I'll read it and I'll be happy. I won't respond. I will not. So don't expect a response. If you expect a response, you will be let down. I hate letting people down. So, actually, that's not true. I love letting people down. It's one of my favorite things to do. I do it all the time. It's actually like my number one skill is letting people down. I'm like a letting people down perfectionist. Bro, this is the greatest Spotify bio I've ever heard. This is so random, but if you guys are ever doing like a school project and they ask what's the greatest Spotify bio ever, I can help you out right now. I can do your homework for you right here, right now. Say Breakins. His Spotify bio is glitch pop perfectionist, or at least it was for a little bit. And I remember the first time I read that bio, I was like, holy crap, this guy's cool. I don't know why. I really couldn't tell you why. But something about that bio screams cool guy to me. And maybe it's because I'm a loser and I have no friends. But when I read that for the first time, I was like, dude, I want to be just like this guy. I want to be Breakins. And I don't think I ever acted on that instinct or on that initial desire that I had upon seeing a Spotify profile and description. But maybe one day I'll try and really be Breakins, and you'll see that development, a little character arc that might occur in the Pat Dan story. You never know. Anything can happen. Hey, I am kind of on a little bit of like a wannabe musician arc. Like, I would love to. I think I would be really bad at it. And like, people would rightfully be upset if I ever saw any success, because they'd be like, this guy doesn't deserve like this success at all. He's a loser and his voice is horrible and he doesn't know how to make music, because all those things are true. I don't. But if I like suddenly one day blew up as like a SoundCloud rapper style figure, I think it would really be a huge moment. I mean, obviously it would be a huge moment, but it would be something that I think I've been raring up for my entire life. I've been training for that. So I think I'd be ready. I wouldn't be ready to make good music. I'd be ready for the persona. Like, I'd be ready to put on a fake face and pretend to be a different guy than I actually am for the whole world. Because I think that's a skill that I've been really locking in on for how long have I been alive? 19 years. So yeah, that would be, I mean, that would be pretty fun for me to just exhibit my skill set. Like that is, I think, if I could put that on my resume, I would, but no employer is going to say, oh, he's good at pretending to be someone else. Yeah, we'll get him. Unless it's like for like, I don't know, an acting gig, but that would still be a weird way to phrase that. I'd probably just like say, you know, my acting credentials, like, you know, that would make more sense, I would imagine. I don't know. I haven't auditioned for anything like professional before, so I have no idea what I'd do. I'd probably fake my entire audition process. Like I would lie the whole way through because I think I'd be a little too scared to tell the truth. I'd be like, yeah, I'm actually kind of goat. I'm the best to ever do it. And then I'd say like, oh yeah, actually, I don't know if you know this, but I was actually the star of the hit TV show The Office. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen or heard of it, but it is kind of my magnum opus. Yeah, my name's actually it's Rainn Wilson. Yeah, they call me Rainn Wilson. Oh, I look a little different. No. You must be thinking of another guy. I'm the guy who played Dwight Schrute. You remember Dwight Schrute? Yeah, that's me. You still say I'm looking different. I'm sorry, I don't know. Maybe you got to get your eyes checked. 2020 vision is not looking up for you, my friend. Anyway, you know, that's my impression of me when I'm pretending to be Rainn Wilson at an audition, I guess. I don't know. That one's a bit that still needs to be workshopped. So I won't be upset if you didn't like that one. In fact, I'll be pleased because it will mean my audience has solid taste in humor and comedy. You know, it would be super fun to be like a comedy writer. I had this one teacher who was obsessed with wanting to be a sketch writer for, I would imagine, television, because that's where sketches are, you know, mostly being made. But he was obsessed with it. Clearly, like he would never say it out loud because that's kind of an embarrassing thing, I think, for him. But he was like it was very clear that all his life has been leading up to him being a sketch writer, and he failed miserably at it. Because I knew he failed miserably at it because he was sitting right there in front of me in a classroom, you know, teaching English. So I knew for a fact he had failed miserably at his dream, which is an unfortunate thing to see, right? Like you don't want to see that happen to a guy as sweet as him. He was a sweetheart, but it was pretty funny to watch still. Despite the fact that I knew it was so sad, I was still like, okay, this is kind of funny. Like you got to admit, it's kind of funny to see a guy on his last legs, you know. People love it. He was kind of similar. I feel like I couldn't tell you why, but he gave me vibes of an anti-hero. Like he never did anything that was particularly anti-hero-esque, but if they made a movie about his life, they would probably frame him as an anti-hero. I figured out the first time that I ever heard the nomenclature anti-hero, and it was in a JCS criminal psychology video. Any Jim Can't Swim fans out there, hit me with a hoot and a holler. Can I get a hey-yo, Jim Can't Swim fans? Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Sorry, I tickle myself sometimes. I think the video was, I forget his name. I think it's Jeff the Legend. Jeff the Legend, yes, is the name of the guy. And it was like, the video title was like the guy who outsmarted the police or something silly like that. You know how they title their videos on YouTube. But it was about this guy who outsmarted the detectives, and he was just not speaking to them, which, you know, it seems at face value seems like a very simple idea, but then you'll watch the other released footage of interrogations and people are just spilling their guts out there. Like people really don't realize that if you don't tell a detective something, they have nothing to twist, right? Like their goal is to figure out a way to make what you say sound like you're guilty. And if you don't ever tell them anything, then they can only twist what they know. And if they don't know anything, you know, there's nothing for them to pin on you. So, I mean, that's a little secret. If you ever get held up in a police station and they start asking you questions, just hit them with the, hey, actually, I'd rather do this with a lawyer. Like, you know, this might sound crazy. I don't know if anyone's ever said this before. I know you have to legally read me my rights before you start interrogating me. But I mean, if this isn't too absurd, I would like to have like just hit him with that line. I'd like to have a lawyer, and then they'll be like, all right, well, you know what? You're released free. You beat the system. You've officially, conquered the police, and you will no longer be interrogated any further. Thank you for your time, dear sir. And then you'll leave happy as ever, and you'll say, hey, Mom, I'm the coolest guy. And then you'll see a video on Jim Can't Swim about how you defeated the cops. But in the video Jim Can't Swim, the guy who outsmarted the detectives or whatever, I think his name's Jeff the Legend. Yeah, Jeff the Legend. And he the narrator, I don't actually know who the narrator is, probably just some guy that they hired on Fiverr. But he was like, oh, Jeff the Legend is such a enigmatic figure in the true crime community because he's seen as an anti-hero. And then they explained what an anti-hero was. To be honest with you, I think I'd heard the term anti-hero before that video. Like, obviously I had, because it's a pretty common term, but I hadn't ever had it directly explained to me. So I wasn't entirely sure the specific definition of it. Like, I knew what it meant in like general terms, but I'd never had anyone say, so an anti-hero is a hero that does things that we might consider villainous, and we love them because they have faults just like our own. And they laid it out so simply like that after that video, I think my usage of the word anti-hero skyrocketed. Like, on the Google Trends of my usage for anti-hero, you would just see, like, immediately after I watched that video, major spike. Every day I was using anti-hero. In class, I would raise my hand, say, is the answer anti-hero? And then my math teacher would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I'd get flunked, but, I did use it quite a bit. I don't know why I told that story. It's a little embarrassing. Flunked my math class for saying anti-hero. No, that didn't happen. I'm joking. It was a joke. That's one that I'm maybe hoping to work into my stand-up set. Actually, I think about this all the time when I think about stand-up. How much of what like famous comedians say is actually just fake? Like, they tell a lot of stories, right? And they say a lot of stuff, okay? Because that's their job. They say a lot of stuff and they get paid to say a lot of stuff. But if you think about it for a second, how can one individual have so many funny stories to tell, right? Like, it just simply doesn't make sense. I would love for the world to be as beautiful as people having that many funny stories to tell, right? Like, that would be a great world to live in. I just don't think that's the world we live in. I think that there's got to be a large proportion of stand-up comedians who just straight fake their material. Like, they're like, hey, I saw this guy the other day that was like screaming at me, and like they didn't actually happen, and then they just make up an entire story and optimize it to be as funny as possible. It's like writing an episode of TV. Like, that's gotta be a thing, right? Like, there's no way John Mulaney has had that many funny moments in his life. Like, he had to have lied about one or two of them. Like, I'm willing to concede that, okay, maybe the majority of his comedy is actually based on real life and he's not lying to us. Like, maybe he has some small sense of integrity somewhere within that little, devilish mind of his. But I do think that quite a bit of it, like, I'm not going to concede on the idea that all of it is real. I do think quite a bit of it, or at least one or two of them, one or two of the jokes, one or two of the words he spills out of his little mouth, they've got to be falsified, and I'm not an expert. I'm not gonna say that I know how to run a lie detector test, but I will say, the guy's a little sketchy. The guy's a little spooky. Didn't he voice the pig in Spider-Verse? I mean, that's pretty, like, come on, man. You voiced the pig in Spider-Verse, lock him up. Lock him behind bars. The guy's clearly done something shady. You don't voice the pig in Spider-Verse just for fun. Like, unless you're really in a bind. And Sony Pictures Animation said, you know what? We will get you out of your legal troubles if you voice the pig in our next movie. And he was like, you know what? I really don't want to do this, but if it's going to get me out of my legal troubles, fine, I'll do it. And that's how that came about. I was actually in the boardroom meeting when that happened. So if you've enjoyed our little chat, feel free to drop a like and share any thoughts you may have in the comments down below. And in any case, that's all I got for you today. Thank you so very much for your time. I've been Pat Dan. You've been great. And until next time, kick rocks, pal. Bye-bye.